Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, where you receive real and authentic updates about the Iraqi dinar. If you want to stay informed with moment-by-moment developments, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video. In today's analysis, we're taking a careful and disciplined look at current market sentiment surrounding the Iraqi dinar, particularly the growing expectations tied to early April timelines, including speculation around April 2nd. While there is currently no confirmed bond-related development or official announcement, the conversation itself is important because it reflects how investor psychology, timing expectations, and external narratives continue to shape perceptions around the dinar. Let's begin by addressing the core of the update. At this moment, there is no verified or official bond news that confirms any immediate financial event tied to the Iraqi dinar. However, despite the absence of concrete developments, there remains a strong wave of anticipation among certain groups who believe that early April could mark a turning point. This type of expectation cycle is not new in the dinar space, but it is worth analyzing what it actually means from a financial and economic standpoint. Markets, especially those tied to emerging or developing economies like Iraq, are heavily influenced by sentiment as much as by fundamentals. When you hear phrases like, "things might start to move," or "we could see a shift around a certain date," it often reflects collective expectations rather than confirmed policy actions. In this case, the reference to April 2nd appears to be based more on speculation than on documented economic policy or central bank communication. From a professional financial perspective, it is important to separate hope from data. Hope can drive short-term excitement, but long-term currency stability is built on structural reforms, fiscal discipline, and institutional credibility. Iraq's economy, while showing gradual progress in certain areas, is still in a phase of rebuilding and stabilization. The Central Bank of Iraq continues to focus on exchange rate management, inflation control, and improving financial transparency, all of which are necessary steps before any major currency shift could realistically occur. Now, let's explore the idea mentioned in the update that, if they are prosperous, we are prosperous. This statement reflects a broader belief that developments in one financial sector or group, such as bondholders or institutional investors, could positively impact others, including retail dinar holders. While there is some logic in the idea that economic growth benefits multiple stakeholders, the relationship is not always direct or immediate. Bond markets, for example, operate differently from currency markets. Bonds are typically tied to government debt and are influenced by interest rates, credit ratings, and fiscal policy. Even if there were positive developments in Iraq's bond market, it would not automatically translate into a sudden or dramatic change in the value of the Iraqi dinar. Instead, any impact would likely be gradual, reflecting improved investor confidence and economic stability over time. In the short term, what we are seeing is a classic case of expectation buildup without confirmed catalysts. This can create periods of heightened attention and discussion, especially on social platforms and within investor communities. However, without official announcements from credible institutions such as the Central Bank of Iraq, the Ministry of Finance, or international financial organizations, these expectations remain speculative. That said, it is also important not to dismiss sentiment entirely. Market expectations can sometimes act as early indicators of shifting confidence. If enough investors believe that positive changes are coming, it can lead to increased interest, higher engagement, and potentially more scrutiny on Iraq's economic policies. In this sense, even unconfirmed timelines can play a role in shaping the narrative, though they should never be treated as guarantees. Looking at the broader economic picture, Iraq continues to face both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, the country benefits from significant oil revenues, which provide a strong foundation for government spending and economic activity. On the other hand, structural issues such as reliance on oil exports, public sector inefficiencies, and the need for financial reform remain ongoing concerns. For the Iraqi dinar specifically, stability has been the primary focus rather than rapid appreciation. The central bank has worked to maintain a controlled exchange rate environment, which helps reduce volatility and supports economic planning. Any major shift in the value of the dinar would likely require a combination of factors, including sustained economic growth, diversification beyond oil, improved governance, and stronger integration into global financial systems. Now let's address the timing aspect more directly. The idea that a specific date, such as April 2nd, could trigger a significant financial event is appealing, especially for those who have been holding the dinar for a long time. However, in professional financial markets, major changes rarely happen based on arbitrary dates without clear policy actions behind them. Instead, they are usually the result of carefully planned decisions, often communicated in advance through official channels. This is why it is essential for viewers and investors to approach such timelines with caution. It is perfectly reasonable to stay informed and hopeful, but it is equally important to rely on verified information and to avoid making decisions based solely on speculation. Financial discipline means balancing optimism with realism. In the short term, the most likely scenario is continued monitoring of Iraq's economic indicators, including oil prices, government spending, inflation rates, and central bank policies. These factors provide a more reliable basis for understanding where the dinar might be headed. While sudden changes are always possible in global finance, they are the exception rather than the rule. In the long term, the outlook for the Iraqi dinar will depend on the country's ability to implement meaningful reforms. This includes strengthening the banking sector, improving transparency, attracting foreign investment, and reducing dependence on oil. Progress in these areas could gradually enhance confidence in the dinar and support its value over time. It is also worth noting that global economic conditions play a role. Exchange rates are influenced not only by domestic factors, but also by international trends, including interest rates in major economies, global trade dynamics, and geopolitical stability. Iraq does not operate in isolation, and any analysis of the dinar must consider this broader context. Returning to the current sentiment, the anticipation surrounding early April reflects a desire for progress and positive change. This is understandable, especially for those who have been following the dinar for years. However, responsible analysis requires us to acknowledge that, as of now, there is no confirmed evidence to support the idea of an imminent shift tied to a specific date. What investors can do instead is focus on credible updates, monitor official announcements, and maintain a long-term perspective. Currency markets reward patience and informed decision-making, not impulsive reactions to rumors or unverified claims. In practical terms, this means treating each new piece of information with a critical eye. Ask whether it comes from a reliable source, whether it is supported by data, and whether it aligns with known economic policies. This approach helps reduce risk and supports more sustainable financial planning. Another important point is diversification. While the Iraqi dinar may be one area of interest, relying too heavily on a single asset or narrative can increase exposure to uncertainty. A balanced approach to investing, based on individual financial goals and risk tolerance, is always the more prudent path. As we move closer to early April, it will be interesting to see whether any official developments emerge. If they do, we will analyze them carefully and provide you with factual, balanced insights. If not, it will serve as another reminder of the importance of separating expectations from reality. In conclusion, today's update highlights the gap between anticipation and confirmed information. While there is no current bond news or verified event tied to April 2nd, the ongoing discussion reflects the continued interest in Iraq's economic future and the potential of the Iraqi dinar. For now, the focus remains on fundamentals, policy developments, and long-term progress rather than short-term speculation. Stay informed, stay disciplined, and always prioritize credible information over hype. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for responsible and factual Iraqi dinar updates. And remember, this content is for informational purposes only and not financial advice.